Yeah. SMU shot the three ball well. I thought they did a good job of, uh, just capitalizing on a lot of our mistakes. We had 22 turnovers, and they're not even a team that's trying to turn you like that. And I think that's probably the most disappointing thing. My team, we have a theme. When we share the ball, we're pretty good, but we got to share the ball from the start. When we don't share the ball, it's how we look in the first half. SMU's a team that's really good. They got, guys that are steals guys. They play in gaps. They do different things, and you got to get off the ball. And, we just didn't do that, and we put ourselves in an insurmountable hole, and we couldn't get it back. So, again, if we're going to do that, it's going to always be hard for us to win games when we just don't share the ball with each other.
Kelly, go ahead.
15 first half turnovers, and I think we get one steal and non-garbage time, I guess you call it a game, two for a game. Just kind of what's going on in that seems to be killing you guys in terms of just the turnovers and then not getting it back on the other side.
Just don't take what's there. You got to hit singles. For whatever reason, we try to hit home runs, and you just don't do that. You can't do that against a team that's a heavy gap team. That's what you got to give. You got to take what the game gives you, and that's the disappointing part about everything. That's two games in a row where we, to me, put ourselves in the hole with our offense. Everybody talks about teams that score points and things of that nature, but here's the reality of it. I don't care. I really don't care what sport you're in, right? If you're playing basketball and you have live ball turnovers, so a live ball turnover in football, that's like an interception return for a touchdown. That's a pick six. Man, them are killers. They just kill you. A fumble recovery, pick up and go. Like, that's the same thing. But the difference is that it just multiplies in basketball, multiplies. And now you got a 4-0 run, 6-0 run, 9-0 run, 12-0 run, and you look up and, you're down 32-13 or whatever that is. And, it's hard. And, you just can't – we don't have the wiggle room to put ourselves in those type of holes, period.
Go ahead, Kelly.
The three-point shooting by SMU, did that surprise you how on they were? I think they were here 14 at one point, just killing you from outside with even some of the contested threes.
No, what surprised me was that we didn't run them off the line, because that's what we talked about. So we knew that the one thing about SMU, they're not trying to trick you. They have a really good three-point shooting team. First play of the game, we go up, we get a layup, we come back down across who we played against last year at UMass. He comes and we close out short on him like he's not going to shoot a three-pointer, and he's 40-plus on the season. Like, at this juncture of the game, the numbers are the numbers. They say what they say. So that means you got to honor it, and he got enough attempts to where you got to, make him a driver. So we got to do better with understanding the assignment. And that's each and every game. We don't have wiggle room. Again, we don't have wiggle room to be looking back and saying we'll get that back. No, we can't get that back, because what happens is it just starts to bleed into the rest of the game, and that's what happened.
With the turnovers, one of the things that seemed very noticeable is guys just not catching the ball cleanly, even on balls that get turned over, fumbling the ball, not maybe thinking too much, or what do you contribute to the inability to just catch kind of simple passes and make their moves?
Not really for sure. But we got to see the ball to your hand. I mean, it's part of the game. And a lot of times, you got to slow down. That goes into me saying you have to hit singles. You got to catch the ball, and then you got to make the next read. You got to catch the ball. You got to see what the next read looks like. Like what we did on Tuesday in Syracuse offensively, and what we did, tonight is unacceptable if we want to win games. It happened before the break, and I said it. everybody will look at the defense and say, oh, the defense, it looks like, SMU's hitting threes and doing all that stuff. No, that's not how it starts. How it starts is live ball turnovers. Quit turning the ball over. Just quit turning the ball over. You know what? You can throw the ball in the 30th row and set your defense, and you got a better action. But when you have live ball turnovers, it deflates you. It does. It deflates you. It deflates the team. And so we got to just learn from this. And, man, we come back tomorrow, we got to get after it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have time. Like, I seem a little irritated because we just don't have time. Like, the sense of urgency just don't seem there. It's like we got tomorrow. No, we don't got tomorrow. Nobody's promised tomorrow. We're not promised that. We gotta get it. We gotta get it right now.
You got anything for Duncan?
Yeah, sure. Duncan, what was it like coming back home? I know the game didn't go well, but just thoughts on playing back home again.
Coming back home really just put things in perspective. Last time I was home, I was like 17 playing, and I had to sit out 2 years. So I'm just grateful to be able to play basketball. Obviously we didn't play good at all. We didn't do what we were supposed to do, but to answer your question, obviously, yes, it feels good, and it's just a blessing to be able to play basketball.
Duncan, from your standpoint, you all scored 19 in the first half and 52 in the second. How much of the difference was what Coach was saying, just protecting the ball, or were there other adjustments that you saw that allowed you guys to perform so much better on the offensive end?
Mentality, we just got to come out ready to play. It's like we take so long just trying to get going the first 10, 15 minutes of the game. Well, whole first half this game. Second half, we was in the locker room. We said we just going to play all out, and that's what we did for a majority of the minutes in the second half, and we, kind of chipped away at the lead. But to answer your question, yeah, we just kind of come out slow and lethargic sometimes for the first 10, 15 minutes.
Anybody else got anything for Duncan? I'll let him go. You got something?
Sure. You guys were playing really well for a stretch there, and you played well against some ranked teams this year in halves. Is it frustrating that this is not going the way you wanted to? As in these last two road games, you guys aren't maybe capitalizing on the momentum you built at home before?
It's definitely frustrating, but it's just part of the sport. You have ups and downs throughout the season, and we had a stretch a couple games ago. We started to find ourselves. Went to Syracuse, kind of lost it a little bit, and then, you got 2 back-to-back road games. You lose to a team, we could have beat Syracuse and then have another road game against SMU. It's just hard to come in and win whenever you're compounding mistakes like that on the road.
Thanks, Duncan.
Yes, sir.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, SMU changed the starting lineup, started Harris 3 instead of one of their other bigs. Does that change anything from what you've planned for? How much does kind of a different starting lineup do for you to open the game?
No, it didn't change. I guess, and I'm not here every day, so I don't really know. But when I seen Matt Cross come here, I thought that he would probably start at the 4 anyway, because if we played him like I said, last year at UMass. So, probably started because he wanted, more scoring, a little more athleticism on the floor and things of that nature. So, no, it didn't surprise me. It didn't change anything that we did. I guess maybe for us, it could have slowed the tempo a little bit, even though Traore is a good shooter and he came in and he shot the ball well. But no, it didn't too much change things for us.
It seemed like Bai and Jaden and some of the guys got frustrated with physicalness under the rim, and Jaden in particular, some freshman mistakes with some fouls there, frustration fouls it looked like, and then fouled out. Just kind of how do you coach them through those moments where they're maybe not getting a call, or definitely his body language was not good at some points where you didn't get a couple calls back around. Just how do you kind of work with that?
Jaden, I think he's going to have growing pains. And the thing about it is, he'll get better. He's only going to get better, but he has to, to me, he has to not take plays off which is human nature as a freshman. And I think it goes into the complacency of our team at times. And, he has to be better, but we have to be better. And I think that, like, a lot of times a freshman is a reflection of what he sees. And I think tonight, it was hard for him because he looking around. It was hard for everybody else, and with Bai, to me, like, we got to get back to work, period. And, it's figuring some things out, but we all have to go home and look in the mirror, and, he has to do the same thing. We don't need him to be, a 20-point guy, but we need him to be more active in impact games on both ends of the floor. And that's what I've been telling him. I don't need you to score 20 points, but you have to be more impactful on the court. And that's what he's missing from his game at time. And I told him that when you're searching for that, that's nothing but energy and effort.
Do you think you're just missing that alpha personality on the court to get these guys engaged early in games or settle them down or whatever? You have two younger guys sort of in leadership positions and then some guys like Lance who maybe aren't super vocal. Like, is it just that vacuum's not there for you right now? Like you have a vacuum there in terms of that on the court?
Well, voids are voids. It's too much season to look at it that way. You have to figure it out, and even if that means you got to try to coach every play, to coach different things, to your point, get certain things across. That's just kind of what it is. Personality wise, we don't have a get in your face type of guy, at least not in the right way. You know what I mean? That has to be, and teams I've been on, whether I was playing or whether I was coaching, that player doesn't have to be the best player. You would like it to be the best player, but it doesn't have to be. It just has to be somebody that's going to hold everybody accountable because they do the right thing every day.